The common values, the shared stories that make us a great and united nation are waiting to be rediscovered and retold once again.
Bruce Springsteen's video in full because I actually found it to be really impactful and very well said. So here it is, and I'll see you on the other side.
Hard work, intelligence, faith, and women and men with the national good guiding their hearts.
It really does feel like we are in a historic moment. Now, I don't know what the other side of this moment's going to be, but history will be made when we are on the other side of it. That'll be on November 6th.
Did you know that Bruce Springsteen has spent over 40 years singing about the struggles of working class Americans? Well, he just used all that experience to deliver a knockout punch to Donald Trump's ego. The boss accused Trump of yanking the chain of the very people he claims to represent. Ouch! That's gotta sting more than a bad spray tan. Wanna know what else Springsteen said that got Trump's comb over in a knot? Stay tuned, cause we're about to break it all down faster than you can say cuffy. This has always blown my mind a little bit. 91% that watch this show regularly haven't subscribed. Could I ask you for a small favor before we start? If you like this show, what we do here, and want to support us, the free simple way you can do just that is by hitting the subscribe button. Well folks, it looks like the boss just gave Trump a musical beatdown that's gonna leave a mark. Bruce Springsteen, the guy who's been singing about blue-collar struggles since Trump was just a wannabe real estate mogul, has some choice words for our orange-tinted president-elect. Turns out Springsteen isn't too impressed with Trump's big promises to the working class. He's calling out Donnie diapers for yanking their chains harder than a rusty old factory whistle. Can you imagine Trump's face when he heard that? Probably turned redder than a MAGA hat in a spin cycle. But hold on to your guitar picks, cause the boss wasn't done yet.
The most important of elections. And with full knowledge that my opinions no more or less important than those of any of my fellow citizens, here's my answer.
It's 32 days until the election, and news is just dropping faster and faster. This time, Bruce Springsteen is out with a viral video that Trump is going to be pissed about.
I'm supporting Kamala Harris for president and Tim Walz for vice president, and opposing Donald Trump and J.D. Vance. Here's why.
Because the very people that he needs to win over and keep are the people that Bruce Springsteen is speaking to in this video. And also, Rudy Giuliani's daughter is also blasting Trump and J.D. Vance, as she has now come out in support of Kamala Harris.
He went full rock star on Trump, calling him a flagrant toxic narcissist. Ouch, that's gotta sting more than sitting on a set of hot amplifier tubes. Poor Trumpy must have felt like he just got hit by a Born to Run tour bus. Now, let's break it down like a Springsteen guitar solo. Bruce knows a thing or two about the struggles of everyday Americans. He's been singing about factories closing and dreams dying for decades. So when he says Trump's promises are emptier than a stadium after the encore, you better believe he's got some street cred. Springsteen's not just blowing smoke here. He's pointing out how Trump's big talk about bringing back manufacturing jobs is about as real as his natural hair color. The boss understands why some folks might fall for Trump's simple solutions. When you're desperate for change, even a snake oil salesman can look like a savior. But here's the kicker. While Trump's been promising to make America great again, Springsteen's been reminding us that it's the workers who've always made this country great, and they've been getting the short end of the stick for the past 40 years, thanks to things like deindustrialization and globalization. It's like they've been stuck in a bad cover version of Glory Days on repeat. What's really wild is how some Trump supporters are still sticking by their man, even after he's let them down more times than a broken guitar string. They seem to think he gets their struggles better than the usual suit and tie politicians. But Springsteen's calling BS on that faster than you can say 10th Avenue freeze out. Well folks, it looks like the Donald's about to put on a Twitter performance that'll make Springsteen's concerts look like a quiet night at the library. Grab your popcorn and maybe a helmet, cause things are about to get messy. Turns out, our orange-tinted president-elect doesn't take kindly to rock stars pointing out his flaws.
We are shortly coming upon one of the most consequential elections in our nation's history, perhaps not since the Civil War.
And Bruce Springsteen just came out literally moments ago with the same message, though I think impactful in a very different way.
Has this great country felt as politically, spiritually, and emotionally divided as it does then at this moment? It doesn't have to be this way.
Speaking to a completely different set of voters, and like I said in my intro, I do think that this is the type of person that could move voters. I don't think celebrity endorsements matter that much, but this is all about permission structures.
Who knew, right? Trump's fingers must have been twitching something fierce after hearing Springsteen's musical SmackDown. So he did what any totally stable genius would do. He fired up Twitter, his favorite place to spout nonsense without anyone interrupting him. And boy, did he go off the rails faster than a Trump casino in Atlantic City. First up, he called Springsteen a washed-up musician. Yeah, you heard that right. The guy who's been selling out stadiums for decades is apparently washed up, according to the man who couldn't even fill his inauguration crowd. Talk about projection, huh? But wait, it gets better. In a moment of pure unintentional comedy gold, Trump suggested Bruce should stick to music. Oh, the irony. This coming from a guy whose main qualification for the presidency was pointing at people and yelling, "You're fired," on reality TV. Maybe Trump should stick to, well, I'm sure he's good at something, right? The tweets just kept coming, each one more unhinged than the last. It was like watching a fireworks show if the fireworks were made of pure ego and bad hair dye. Trump's meltdown was so epic, it was described as a toddler's tantrum in the cereal aisle, but with access to nuclear codes. Sweet dreams, America. Of course, Trump's loyal followers jumped on the bandwagon faster than you can say, "Make America Great Again." They started calling for a boycott of Springsteen's music. Yeah, good luck with that one, fellas. I'm sure Bruce is quaking in his working class boots at the thought of losing the MAGA crowd. Trump's team tried to spin this whole mess by saying Springsteen was just jealous of Trump's success.
The common values, the shared stories that make us a great and united nation are waiting to be rediscovered and retold once again.
Bruce Springsteen's video in full because I actually found it to be really impactful and very well said. So here it is, and I'll see you on the other side.
Hard work, intelligence, faith, and women and men with the national good guiding their hearts.
It really does feel like we are in a historic moment. Now, I don't know what the other side of this moment's going to be, but history will be made when we are on the other side of it. That'll be on November 6th.
Because, you know, nothing says I've made it quite like throwing a fit on social media at 3 a.m. Meanwhile, hashtags like Team Bruce and Team Trump started trending, proving once again that America loves nothing more than a good old celebrity feud. But the cherry on top of this Twitter Sunday? Trump ended one of his rants by calling Springsteen a born in the USA hole. I don't know about you, but I think we've just witnessed the birth of a new Shakespearean insult. Move over, thou egg. There's a new creative genius in town. Well, folks, it looks like the boss has struck a chord that's resonating beyond the stages and stadiums. Springsteen's tunes aren't just for toe tapping anymore. They're becoming a political symphony that's got Trump dancing to a different beat. And let's face it, Donnie's moves are about as graceful as a drunk uncle at a wedding. But here's the kicker. Springsteen's not alone in this musical rebellion. Turns out, celebs like Robert De Niro are joining the band, dropping F-bombs on Trump like they're hot mixtapes. It's like Hollywood's decided to trade in their scripts for protest signs. But hold your horses, cowboy. Before we start thinking celebs are the new political gurus, let's remember that not everyone's buying tickets to this show. Some folks in the heartland are feeling left out of the coastal elite's party. Maybe it's time for Trump to trade in his gold-plated toilet for a front row seat at a Springsteen concert. Who knows? He might just learn a thing or two about the working class he claims to champion. After all, sometimes all it takes is a guy with a guitar to remind us what really matters.